watching the New York Jets struggle reminds me of my favorite Bill Belichick moment of his entire career. Bill Belichick has been the head coach of the New England Patriots for 21 years. He's won 6 Super Bowls in that time frame. He's a legend. He's literally the greatest coach of all time. But Bill Belichick made a decision before getting to New England that made all of his winning with the Patriots possible. My favorite personal quality, before I get into his favorite moment, my favorite thing about Belichick is, he's a genius. He does a lot of things right. But my favorite thing about Bill Belichick is he doesn't really care what other people think, and he's never been afraid of being unique or being different. He'll do what he believes is right, even if nobody else, how rare is that to find someone? You ever been in a classroom situation? People are literally afraid to be different. Like, oh, what if I stand out? Belichick comes up with holes in his shirt, doesn't care, does not care, does what he thinks is right. No fear of being unique or different. Bill made a move that I guess I don't believe most coaches in the NFL have either the confidence or the self-awareness to do. I think both. It takes self-confidence and self-awareness to do what Bill Belichick did. Bill Belichick was once made the head coach of the New York Jets, and he was in that position for one day, for 24 hours, and then he resigned. He stepped down. No one talks about this very often. It's a thing that I think is kind of lost in history at this point. Now, if I give you the short version, like the Cliff Notes version of this story, I want to encourage you, go do more research if you want to. I would start with a 30 for 30 documentary called The Two Bills about Bill Parcells and Bill Belichick. But the short version of the story is that he was the Jets coach for 24 hours and then he resigned. Now, Bill Belichick is famous for saying absolutely nothing at his press conferences. He does not give you anything. But when he resigned from the Jets head coaching job, Bill gave a ton of information, like a shockingly large amount of stuff he said at the press conference. I went, oh, you watch the video out. It's out there somewhere. I'll put a link. If you're on YouTube, I'll put a link in the bio somewhere or in the description somewhere or something in the comments maybe. It's shocking how much Bill keeps talking and talking and talking. And he explained in detail exactly why he was making the decision he made, why he's doing what he's doing. And I would argue that this press conference is one of the earliest moments of Bill Belichick really kind of flexing his muscles and showing his true genius, where he was well aware how weird it is to have a job and then quit it 24 hours later. And so when he talked to the media, all he was really doing was talking to his next employer, saying, hey, here's my case. Here's what I care about. Here's where I want to be. Here's what I believe I can do. Bill Belichick was very careful to do two things. Number one, he was very careful to not bash anybody associated with the New York Jets. But number two, he was also careful to make it clear he wanted to coach and he believed in himself as a head coach in the NFL. But he also then pointed out the uncertainty with the Jets ownership. The former Jets owner, Leon Hess, had recently died. And the new potential owners of the Jets were either going to be James Dolan, who's all kinds of bad with the New York Knicks, or Woody Johnson, who ended up buying the team of Johnson & Johnson, the pharmaceutical company. And after the fact, years later, Bill Belichick has said that he had problems with both potential owners. But Bill Belichick did something that most football coaches do not have the confidence or self-awareness to do. He realized, he looked around and said, wow, I am in a bad situation. And he quit after just one day. And I want you to think about something. If you take a job tomorrow at a movie theater or a grocery store or a car wash, you show up on your first day of work and it's not good. And you're like, the boss is mean. The car wash is wet. I hate getting wet all the time. Or, I hate making popcorn in a movie theater. You can quit your job after one day at a lot of jobs and nobody really knows about it. No one's the wiser, right? Now, a job like the Jets head coach is not the kind of job you can do that at. It's a big, public, forward-facing job that millions and millions of people care about. You cannot quietly quit that job after one day and not have a lot of people notice. And remember, this is before Bill Belichick had joined the Patriots. This is before he had proven himself to be the greatest NFL head coach in history. He didn't have the cachet or the reputation he has now. In fact, all he really had was that he was once the head coach in Cleveland, and he got fired. Now, I would say he got fired unfairly. He did fairly well in Cleveland, got fired during a transitional phase when they got moved from Cleveland to Baltimore and the name got changed. But people don't remember that stuff. A lot of the time people go, you got fired, and that's all they remember about you. They don't remember context. People don't care about context. They care about the way something sounds. And so Bill said in his press conference that going through the firing with the Browns and having the transition happen was hard on him and his family. He said, I don't want to do that again. And I applaud Bill Belichick for his self-awareness. If he had stayed with the Jets, we might have never, ever seen him become what he became with the Patriots. It's kind of crazy what could have been. We might have never seen the Patriots become a dynasty, literally, in the NFL if he'd stayed with the Jets. It's insane to think about. And I want to applaud him because most people don't know what they want, let alone what they don't want. Bill knew both. He knew exactly what he wanted, and he knew exactly the situation he wanted to avoid. That's so impressive. It says a lot about Bill's mind and how smart he is. And maybe one of the greatest moves Bill Belichick has ever made was simply avoiding the Jets. Avoiding being the head coach of the New York Jets might be the greatest move Bill Belichick has ever made. Crazy to think about. It's especially relevant as you watch the Jets go through all the pain and turmoil they're going through now. And that's one of my favorite Bill Belichick moves of all time. I appreciate it. I applaud it. And I guess the word is ballsy move by Bill Belichick to know, hey, this situation I'm in, it ain't going to work. It's not good, Chief, and I'm going to walk away. I think that's pretty impressive and pretty cool to me when I watch all that.